Lakeside Dental Clinic, Go Island, is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic.
I hesitate to say Happy Halloween because that seems too commercial. It is the season to explore spirits and ghosts and witchery and tarot and things that people might think come from other worlds. That's what we're doing today on Go.
Love and affection from canine visitors making a difference for seniors in care in Nanaimo on the brink of election.
Hawaiian flowers. Oh, this smells so good. It always smells good inside Lobelias Lair in Heritage Muse here in Nanaimo's Old City Quarter. And they have a little bit of a Halloween display going on here, black magic incense. And over here, something interesting, spells from Halloween, which actually opens up the conversation about witches. And do you know what witches are? Well, today we're going to talk to a witch and explore some of the historical aspects and roots in what you might not think of as being part of witches in today's society. But first, we're throwing things over to Kelly Robinson, a look at how a local organization is bringing some joy into the lives of seniors. Now, I knew there were a lot of varieties of tarot cards, but I think this is the first time I've actually seen a deck called Halloween Tarot. Liberty Harakas is here with Lobelias Lair. She is Lobelias Lair, here for 13 years in the Old City Quarter. What is unique about this deck?
Oh, well, it's got pumpkins and black cats and ghosts and all kinds of fun things. So it's the traditional tarot in all of its splendor, but the imagery is all Halloween. So haunted houses and all kinds of fun stuff.
Now, I imagine there's some witches in here, and we're going to explore that a little bit today because you're a witch. What does that mean?
That means magic. It's living a magical life. So many people consider witches to be Wiccan, but not all witches are. It's a very broad term. It basically speaks about predominantly women, some men, who like to live a magical life. So working with the phases of the moon, working with nature, working with crystals, herbs, essential oils. So it's all about how we can utilize our surroundings to manifest what we want to create in our lives.
And how do you use tarot? How do witches, if that's fair to say, use tarot?
Yeah, so predominantly it's a tool for a witch. It's a tool for many people. There are angel tarots, there are all kinds of tarots that depict different cultures and different philosophies. But traditionally, it's a use of symbolism to interpret what is going on for a person in their life. So it reflects a person's life using through the use of symbols.
And you're not trying to, if we were doing a reading, you wouldn't be trying to predict for me or tell me what to do. You're helping me gain insight into my life and myself, really.
Exactly, and that's what most people seek out readings for, is to explore their own life path, get some perspective, look at what might be barriers, fears, things that block their path, so that they could move forward in a really productive and happy way.
There's a negative connotation, do you think? People think of black cats and they think of bad luck. They think of witches and they think of ugliness. I dressed up as a witch on Halloween with my kids and I blacked out a tooth. And that's not accurate? Where does that come from?
It comes, well, I think historically it comes from fear.
Of the unknown?
Of the unknown. Often there's fear around powerful people, especially powerful women. So how do we set up things that will break down that power? A little bit perhaps closer to our time, Hollywood. So that's a huge influence on the depiction of witches.
Okay, we're going to look into talk about a pilgrimage that you took to Salem and how witches have impacted your life, and a little bit about Day of the Dead, I believe, after a short break.
Still to come today, Dunya Tosi takes us inside BC's entertainment industry, and Annette Lucas explores Nanaimo with an election in mind.
Day of the Dead coasters. I mentioned earlier that I hesitate to say Happy Halloween because it seems so consumerism based, and I have an issue with that around a lot of our Valentine's Day and things like that, and I perhaps should know more about Day of the Dead than I do. What is the difference between Day of the Dead and Halloween?
I think, well, first of all, Day of the Dead is a celebration in Mexico. It takes place the 31st, 1st, and 2nd. It's also known as All Souls Day, All Saints Day. It's predominantly a Catholic tradition and celebration in honor of our ancestors and those who have passed over. And so similarly, Samhain, which is the basis for Halloween, is the same type of observance. So pictures are laid out of our loved ones who have passed on. We dress up to celebrate them in their lives and the accomplishments that they created. And so it's a 3-day celebration in Mexico. I've not been yet, but it sounds like a great time.
Is it starting to become celebrated more here?
Absolutely. There's all kinds of Day of the Dead parties that happen in the US and in Canada, of course, because there's a lot of the Mexican population in the US and also in our community right here in Nanaimo.
I don't know if I'm seeing a contrast or what that contrast is between, but celebrating and looking at the positive and that passing over is a part of being here in the first place. And so it's not a matter of being scared, there's nothing to be fearful of, and yet there is such a dark element to it, and I'm trying to see the separation or connection between the two.
So the fearful part originated where the idea that the veil between the worlds, our physical world and the other side, let's say,
whatever that is,
the veil is the thinnest around Samhain, the 31st of October, so that spirits can kind of willfully cross back and forth. So the idea of dressing up came from disguising oneself so that the spirits couldn't find you. And so that's where that element of fear came in. But traditionally, it's really about honoring our ancestors.
And maybe by dressing up as one of the spirits, we can become them.
That's right. And
if you can't beat them, join them, right?
Exactly.
Oh, fun. We're just touching the surface. You really should drop by Lobelias Lair and explore. This is a perfect time of year to do it. We're going to explore the entertainment industry next with Dunya Tosi. Here's Go Higher. Liberty Harakas took a pilgrimage, as you called it, to Salem about 4 years ago. And for those who don't know, what is the significance, historical connection to witches in Salem?
That's where we had the witch burnings, so persecution of a group of young women who were considered to be witches. And so there was a lot of hysteria around it, that they were tried. Some were hung, some were drowned. There were a lot of atrocities that went on around that. So the community at large has been drawing people of all backgrounds to honor those who have passed on in that event, but also to help people to understand, who witches are and what their intentions are.
Do you think there is a misunderstanding?
Oh, absolutely.
Who are witches then?
Witches can be anybody, and I really love the part of the museum in Salem where they showed historically, they did a reenactment of the trials. They showed witches through history, through the Celtic culture, through various European cultures. And then they had one big exhibit at the end that said witches today, and it looked like it could have been anybody walking down the street. So it was really a beautiful comment.
How did you feel in your time there?
Oh my goodness, I was just so excited the whole time. First of all, it's such a beautiful area, but to see that women in those traditions were honored was really deeply moving.
Is it possible to separate witchery from feminism?
No.
They are connected.
They're very connected. because that was quite often the issues around, women who were powerful and used nature around them to heal, to educate, to, bring about a positive environment and existence for people. So those who are fearful of empowering others then try and set controls. And so that
And turn it into something that it's not, and creating fear.
Absolutely. So that's in essence a lot of what goes on in anti-feminist situations.
Now I'm hearing some noises, and I think Derek behind the camera today might be responsible for that, but we're here in this room in the back of Lobelias Lair for a reason. You said, let me show you the haunted room. What?
Yes, well, before the Heritage Muse was constructed, there was a series of homes on this property, and one of the homes belonged to a gentleman who was a watch repairman. He had antique jewelry and various things. And when we first took over the space, there were all kinds of things that happened back here. Things being knocked over, lights not working, stereos turning on and off. And through a little bit of research, we found out that through the archives of the city, found out who lived here, and we actually had a visual of this spirit, and it matched that of the gentleman that owned the shop here.
And he wasn't necessarily trying to cause harm, but he wanted to be known.
He wanted to be known. This is his space. We need to respect it, and which we have learned to do over the years, and what he likes and what he doesn't like, and we keep the activity to a minimum.
And that doesn't scare you.
Oh,
it doesn't give you chills. It's not.
Well, okay. I might confess that sometimes when I'm here late at night and I'm locking up, I kind of move a little quicker when I'm leaving the room.
Out of respect.
That's it. Thanks, Kate.
Out of respect. We're going to throw things over now to Annette Lucas for a look at Nanaimo leading up to the upcoming election. We have been very busy behind the scenes at Shaw TV at our studio here in Nanaimo, welcoming all the candidates to have a couple of minutes of airtime. We'll begin airing those candidate platforms beginning on Tuesday, November the 4th, 9 o'clock. If you're in Nanaimo, you will see your candidates for both council and mayor's chair running at 9 o'clock. If you're in Parksville, we'll be presenting your Parksville candidates to you. We'll be rolling out Ladysmith, Qualicum Beach, as well as Lanceville, School District 68, School District 69, Area Land Trust, and the RDN. You can visit our Facebook page for air times on that. Another reminder, speed campaigning taking place at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre Tuesday, November the 4th, beginning at 5 o'clock. An opportunity to interact with your Nanaimo candidates on a one-on-one basis. Before we go today, we'd like to thank Liberty for opening her doors here at Lobelias Lair, and just reminding you that she caters to everyone who is pursuing conscious living of all kinds. Happy Halloween, happy Day of the Dead, if I'm not being too commercial. Thanks for watching Go Island. We'll see you next time.
Lakeside Dental Clinic Go Island is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic, a division of the Vancouver Island Implant Centre, delivering dental services, including dental implants and sedation dentistry, all under one roof. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.